Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Just gonna give a couple of minutes for Cydney to join and then we can get started. Hi, Cydney. Hello, 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 hello. I'm excited. Welcome to Global Entrepreneurship Week kicked off this week. Let me know if you can hear me. And Cydney, I am going to give you a couple of minutes to just kind of like get your. I'm sure you're already together. I should be the one getting myself together, basically. But I'm excited to be on here. I'm excited for my special guest, Cydney, um, the founder, the CEO of CM Client Services, and in celebration of Global Entrepreneurship Week, we're going to be having a series of Instagram Live interviews and just really leaning into the amazingness of our women doing it afraid community. And so I'm excited about today's session, and I am going to bring Cydney up. Cydney, if you can send me an okay, let me see if I can just invite you instead. Invite to join. I think that should come up pretty soon. Yes, welcome Global Entrepreneurship Weeks. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. Good to see you.
Yes, you as well. I'm so excited.
I am as well. I'm excited to ask you questions and know more about your business, for you to share with the whole group, those who are going to be watching live and those who probably are going to be watching this on replay about your business, what you do, how you got started, and all of that great stuff. So I'm happy to be here. Welcome everyone and thanks for joining. I guess we can literally get started. Like I told you yesterday, this could be like two friends really just chatting about life, about business, about what entrepreneurship means, and how you started. How
hmm
you started. I'm curious to know more about how you started because I think when I read your bio, I was like, oh, this is going to be a question for Cydney when I see her. All right. So just for introductions, my name is Stella Iheanacho, and I'm the founder of Women Doing It Afraid, and it's literally a platform that does what its name says. It's a platform that helps women overcome their fear so that they can do it afraid. We don't shy away from talking about fear on our platform. We talk about fear so much because when you run away from something, you try to say it has more power over you, and fear doesn't have any power over us. So we literally go through it. We get all the resources that we need. We educate our women, we empower them, we inspire them, and we give them the tools that they need to succeed. And every year is always an opportunity for us to talk about entrepreneurship. Like we talk about entrepreneurship in any way that we can. But the month of November annually is where we celebrate Global Entrepreneurship Week. And
hmm
so that week is this week. Typically, we have events on site, but we're like, why wait? Let's do it. Make it live so that other people from all over the world can key in. And so, what we're doing is we're bringing women such as Cydney on to come and share about her entrepreneurial journey and how she got started. So, Cydney, I do have your bio here, but something tells me that you can do better justice to this.
I hope so.
You know what? I'm gonna let you speak. Say yes, and whatever part you missed, because I know sometimes we like to be humble. I'm not gonna be humble on your behalf. So why
Okay.
don't you introduce yourself, and then I will fill in the gap if you miss anything.
Okay. All right. So, hi, everybody. I am Cydney Payton Diggs. I'm 27, born and raised in Washington, D.C. I got started. Um, well, first, let me just start from the beginning. I have been working for as long as I could legally have a job.
Mm,
Just small customer service jobs. Um, I worked and did like medical stuff. I think my one of my first jobs was working in a an allergy clinic as a clerk. But I got a small feel of what it's like to work in administration and things like that. And later on, I became a federal government contractor. I worked at TSA headquarters as an executive assistant. I did so much that probably was not in my job description. But I'm thankful because I got a lot of experience and
mm,
learned a lot of things, especially when it comes to supporting an entire team.
mm,
But my contract ended August 2020, mid pandemic. And for the first time in my life, I really struggled to find a job. Usually if I'm leaving a job or something like that, I have a job probably lined
Coming
up
up.
next week. But I was unemployed for 4 months and I was
Mm,
like, okay, I got to do something. I actually did get a job offer that offered me a lot more money that I was making at my job. Um, but I didn't take it. I felt like it wasn't aligned with whatever I wanted to do. I didn't know what it was, but I just felt like it wasn't right for me.
right.
So I came across the word virtual assistant on Instagram. It was these two young ladies talking about just working remotely
Hmm.
as a virtual assistant. And I looked it up and I was like, I was already doing that. I was an executive assistant working remotely. It's the same thing. Um,
Exactly.
so I pretty much took all of those skills and did it for myself.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing. It sounds very familiar to what I'm also used to. So for my day job, like what I do career wise, business wise, I also teach people to get in particular into becoming agile coaches, project managers, and all of that great stuff. And one thing that I've realized even doing that is a lot of people feel like they don't have the experience. But then by the time they begin to understand the context of what it is I'm teaching them, they're like, oh, but I've always done this. Oh, I understand that. Just exactly what you just said. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people hold on so much to titles that they miss the fact that the roles and responsibilities are all the same. And I think that's probably what exactly what happened to you. But
Yeah.
apart from being, of course, a virtual assistant, you're also a virtual assistant mentor, and then you have a leading lady via academy. I told you I wasn't going to let you be humble, so can you please shed more light on that?
Yeah. So I started this whole VA situation
Yeah.
with no guidance and anything like that. But it took me a while to kind of get my processes together and even to get clients and all of that. But 2022 was really a game changing year for me. And so when I finally got to a place where I felt like I could share some type of information, because I don't think I teach things that people don't know. um, I mostly just like give people ideas to think for themselves and all of that. But I had this notebook that I've been
Mhm.
using since I started, literally since I found the word virtual assistant. I filled this notebook up with all the information that I could find. I studied myself when it came to my consultations and things like that. So I basically created a program surrounded by everything I wish I would have had when I first started my VA career.
That's
And
great.
yeah,
But then you just said something now that you feel like you're not teaching people things that they already know.
yeah.
And I think that's one of also the issues why a lot of people don't start a business because they feel like everybody knows this already. So
Yeah.
what made you still go ahead to teach people, even if you feel like, well, I think they already know
I kept getting asked.
it.
I kept getting DMs from other women like, are you going to do classes and things like
Mm,
that? Because I started off just having a free webinar and every maybe like every 2 months or something I will have a free webinar just teaching the basics of what a virtual assistant was because
okay.
I felt like it's a very low threat career.
Hmm.
You make your own rates, you pick and choose who you want to work with and all of that, so I'm like more women should be doing this.
Right, right.
So the more I got asked, can you help me start my VA business and all of that? I
Hmm.
was just like, okay, maybe I just need to make this a program.
Hmm.
So by the time the third person asked me, I was like, okay, I'm just going to start working on this because clearly this is something that's in demand.
That's true. All right. So my question would be, since you started your VA business, right? How has your life changed?
Hmm. Um, I can definitely, I'm a lot more happier.
Mm,
I remember having a job. I would literally come home crying just because I hated my job so much. It was really affecting my mental health. my marriage. Like I just wasn't as bubbly as I normally was and all of that. So now I feel like I do something that I enjoy and something that I feel comes easy for me, but still challenging sometimes.
Right,
Um,
right.
I feel fulfilled. I do, especially when I'm in the middle of coaching. When I'm doing leading
Mm.
lady and I'm working with my girls, I feel so good. Just knowing that I'm impacting somebody else's life in a positive
Mm-hmm.
way. And
Mm-hmm.
the crazy thing to me is the women that I work with, they're all older than me.
Mm.
So it's very fulfilling.
So that means this, I mean, and the reason why I'm asking this question, just for anyone on the call who feel probably, well, I don't think what I know is enough, or everybody already knows this, right? You really never know, who needs your help, right?
Yeah.
You never know, and you never know whose life you are just helping and how you can also change your life by reaching out and helping other people, right? All right. So I see your fans are in the chat. Okay. So let's talk about you make it sound pretty easy, right? Like, okay, I saw the virtual assistant name and I was like, yeah, I've done this before. Did you go through any form of fear? Like, is this something that I want to do? Or were you like, I got this in the bag?
I absolutely had some fear. Um, to
let's
do
let's
it
talk
is
more
one.
about let's talk more about the fear. What kind of fear
Yeah.
were you going through?
Um, the fear of doing it on my own, the fear of failure. I still doubt myself sometimes. Don't get me wrong. Some days I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do anything, I don't even want to post today. I mean, it happens. I'm human, but
Right,
um,
right.
there was definitely some fear. Am I going to get a client next week? All of that. But I've noticed the more positive that I'm thinking about it, because it really is just a perspective change. I started speaking to myself, things that probably haven't even happened yet.
Mm.
So I'll say things like the money is already in my bank account.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
exactly. Like just reaffirming myself. And
Mhm.
when I worry about something, and then I'll have a conversation with myself, like, girl, why are you worried about that? And next week it's already taken care of. And
Mm,
I'm just like, what am I stressing over this for?
that's true.
You
That's
know?
true. That's true. So the power of reaffirming, self-talk, right?
Yeah.
All right. So again, I don't want to assume that everybody on this call probably knows who or what a virtual assistant does. Do you want to educate us on that?
Yeah, so a virtual assistant is an independent contractor that works with business owners or professionals that can help them remotely.
Okay.
Yep.
And I know you also talked about like the academy you have, the Leading Lady VA Academy. So that is the academy to train those who want to get into becoming VAs, correct?
hmm
Okay.
So, Leading Lady Virtual Assistant Academy is a 6-week program where I am teaching all the basics and ins and outs that you need to know to start your own VA business.
Or start your own VA business. All right. So let's take it one step further then. What if someone wants to start being a VA? Like, what are without giving your trade secrets, of course, right? How would you guide that person, or what would you say to that person to coach that person to literally step out and do it afraid?
First, I would start with identifying your skills.
Okay.
Um, I do have a free resource that I try to tell people about. It's called the Skills for Profit Worksheet. And basically, you use this tool to identify all the skills that you have that you feel like you would like to monetize.
Okay.
Because we have tons of skills and jobs and all these things that we've done. And sometimes we just sit on them, sitting on
That's
our.
true.
So, yeah,
So,
figure out what you can do first.
okay. And then from there, then they should definitely join your VA Academy, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So, Cydney, let's talk about the future. Like, we're in 2022, and you said it was also a game-changing year for you as well. What are the big plans you have for your business? Yes. Think.
2023, I'm definitely coming out with more products. because I do have a mug collection, and
Okay.
I also want to transition from me to a team.
Nice, nice. I love that. Increasing your
Yep,
impact.
increasing, expanding. I want to turn into an agency. That's my end goal.
All right, you had it here first, people. Okay.
You heard it
I,
first, people.
you had it here first. You want to turn into your own agency. And so, what kind of fear are you going through right now? Because one thing I truly believe is for every level, right, there's this kind of, there's fear for every level. Like, whether you're starting small, there's a fear in that level. Whether you want to expand, there's another fear in that level, right? So,
Mhm.
what is going through your mind, right? Because I'm all about honesty. Like, someone said, hire me. I'm all about honesty. I'm all about, right? I mean, the woman doing it afraid is not afraid to say that, yeah, she's feeling fear, but she's still going to do it. So, what's going through your mind, and maybe what strategies have you put in place to also overcome the fear?
Mm. Um, Definitely counsel.
Okay.
Um, I speak to the people that are in my circle. I feel like I have a great group of friends, and even the ladies that I am mentoring in my program, I seek counsel from them as well. I'm still young, you know. I like to listen, and I feel like I'm always forever a student. So that's number one. What I do, I like to get other people opinions and things like that, but still value my own, of
Okay.
course. Um, but I'm really just trying to figure out what strategies and processes I need to put in place so that I can expand at the moment.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. For those who just joined, those who just joining us, this is our Global Entrepreneurship Week interview series, where I bring on amazing entrepreneurs within our community to come and share about their business, talk about even the fears that they have faced. Make sure that you know about them, and that you are going to the link in their bio right now to patronize them, to buy their products, or you're sliding to their DM and say, "Can you help me be my virtual assistant?
Uh,
Please do that." That's your mug. All right. Sorry, that was no, that was too fast. Bring it back up and show us closely, please. We would
so
love to see them.
my mugs, they have positive affirmations on them.
That is great.
So this one says one cup closer to seven figures because
Can I
that's
send
where
you my
I'm trying to
address?
be.
Can I send you my?
Yes, you can.
You can
Yeah.
send one to me, please.
So
Awesome.
I'm very big on affirming myself.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So the theme that we're choosing for our Global Entrepreneurship Week is on education and inclusion. Like I said earlier at the beginning of our life, right? That education is super important to what we do as women doing the free, because we can inspire you. I can hype you up all day, every day. But when you leave that environment and you're going back to that environment where it can steal away that hype, can steal away that oxygen, it can make you feel like you're back to square zero, right? But when you're education is what really transforms the mind and keeps you going, even when you're in an environment that is not conducive, right? And then talk about inclusion as well. So being inclusive, because oftentimes, I mean, we're still fighting trying to get women on the table, women to have their seat on the table, and all of that, right? And as a woman in business, right? Understand that, of course, you have to be dedicated to do what you're doing, and you know that you are being inclusive because you're helping other women earn their own money and bring things to the table and support their family, right? Can you tell us more about what inclusion means to you, and also what education means or has meant to you as an entrepreneur?
Mm. Well, inclusion. Let me just start with that. I do help, anybody if they want to learn about becoming a virtual assistant. But I mainly wanted my program to be for women, just because I'm very big on women having their own money.
Right.
Um, we are in a society where I don't know, we live in a patriarchy.
Right.
you know? So I'm just, I'm rooting for my girls. I'm all about empowering women just because I have been fortunate enough to have other women pour into me at a very
Mm.
young age. My godmothers, my teachers, aunts, anybody. So I want to make sure that I'm doing that for other people. And I don't have children, so I'm enjoying pouring this to other people.
Nice.
Hmm.
Okay.
Um, I'm sorry,
And
can
then what
you
about
repeat this back?
education?
Oh,
The education part. Yeah.
Um, Education is very important. I actually did not finish college. I did 3 semesters in school. However, I always knew that I wanted to be a business owner. So maybe eventually I'll go back and go to school for business and all of that. But I've always wanted to show that there are different avenues to
Mm,
success, and success is whatever that looks to you.
that's
Um,
true.
I chose this route, entrepreneurship. Do I wish I would have started this years ago? Heck yeah.
Yeah.
But divine timing.
That's
So,
true. That's true, divine timing. And if anyone has any question for Cydney or myself, please feel free to put in the chat. If you have any question around entrepreneurship or becoming a VA, or you want to be a part of her academy, please absolutely share in the comment section. All right. Thank you. And thank you for the interaction. I'm loving it. I'm loving the gems and all of that good stuff. Okay. So let's talk about support system, right? One of the reasons why I believe a lot of women even struggle with starting because they feel like they're doing this by themselves. So, how has the support system really moved you forward in your entrepreneurial journey?
well, definitely my number one support is my partner. My partner-in-law, my partner in crime, my wife. Without her, I probably would not have been able to be home and work on my business and all of that. So she is my number one supporter and my number one fan. Um, but also just my family referring people to me. A lot of my clients are referrals, but mainly do come from Instagram as well. But support is very big to me because um, you can't do it alone.
That's
I mean,
true.
you can. Let me not say that.
Well,
You can do it on
but it's
your own.
lonely though. But it's
Yes, it's lonely and you'll drive yourself crazy. So
it's lonely. Yeah.
that's that's a big part of my business. I am professional support, but not only am I professionally supporting you, I'm asking you, how can I make your work-life balance better? Is there
Mm.
anything that I can help you with? Because I know you're stressed with whatever you're going through and all of that. So I'm big on support on my end, but I'm also very big on giving support
Giving
as
support, yeah. You're right. I mean, yes, we can do it on our own, but it can get a little. I mean, for how long can you talk to yourself, right? You need someone to bounce some
well.
ideas with or scream at the end of the day. So I heard you mention support, and I wanted to also talk about that as well, especially when it comes to being an entrepreneur, because the entrepreneur journey, I mean, it's good, but sometimes it's not as glamorous as everyone on Instagram streets make it to be. There are some days that are great, some days that are hard, and I think that's really what life is about. Some days it's good, some days it's not. It's not. I mean, when you have bad days, doesn't mean that's the end of the world. Sometimes you can feel like it's the end of the world, but the next day, something good and fantastic could happen. Just like your journey as well. I think I saw a post that you put about October last year. You said you had like $0, and October like this year you have like $6,000. Like who?
Yeah.
That's a whole year waiting, and so people don't have the patience to wait for a whole year. So at that point in time when you had $0 in your account, where you felt like, man, did you ever think like, did I even do the right thing? What was the thought process during that period?
Ooh, Stella. Yes, I have definitely had those thoughts like, do I want to go get a job? But I'm also like, if I'm going to go get a job and still do this VA thing, that's just going to divide my attention from doing what I really want to do anyway.
Mm,
And that's something that I try to encourage people. Like, you don't have to, everybody doesn't have to start a business, no, but everybody should start a business. And I'm gonna just say why. Um, there's not much on this planet that we can own.
mm,
But if you own a business, you have something. You have something that you can say that you own. Besides a business, I would definitely say own a piece of earth, land.
land,
Um,
right?
but yeah, I just lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Well, but that was good though. There's not a lot of things that we can own, and owning a business is one thing, right? Because I was asking you about when you have $0 in your account.
Oh yeah,
Did you feel like I should have just gotten a job?
I did. But also,
So what kept you going though? Like,
Um, Knowing that I'm meant for something bigger. It's like this feeling that I have. It comes and goes. I'm not gonna lie, it comes and goes. But sometimes there's just this feeling where it's like I know something big is coming. I don't know when, but
right,
it's coming. And I think that's the thing that really keeps me
kept
going.
you going. Okay, great. And where you began to get in the coins,
Hmm.
was that validation? That was validation for you. Yeah. I mean, it was always there. You just needed time, right? That's it. Like, I absolutely can relate, and I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs on the call can also relate. Some when you start something, sometimes it might take time. Sometimes it might be immediate. You just never know. But then you have to be so sure that that's what you're supposed to do. And I think you mentioned that. I'm going to ask you this question as we kind of like round up. My question to you is: you said, "Well, what's the point of me getting a job which would take time away from me doing what I want to do?" So how did you know this is it?
There's just this feeling.
Okay.
The lifestyle that I was able to create surrounding being a virtual assistant, just the flexibility and me being able to wake up and pick and choose how I want my morning to go, and all of that. That flexibility alone is unmatched, really.
Right.
So that is something that I'm not trying to give up.
Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being honest. Well, thank you for everyone who's joining us. So far, we're talking about, Cydney and her amazing business, CM Client Services. She is a phenomenal virtual assistant, and she has an academy where she trains other people who want to start their VA businesses as well. And we're doing this in honor of the Global Entrepreneurship Week that started off this week, where on our platform, Women Doing That Free, we're bringing amazing business owners like Cydney to come and share their story, how they started, the fears that they faced, how they're overcoming those fears, and what the future looks like for them as well. And so Cydney has been educating us on who a VA is, what a VA does, and her journey. And so if you have any question for Cydney, this is a good time for you to put the question in the chat so that she can answer it, right? Before you go into her DM and probably pay for her coaching session or something like that. And then talking about the future, I'm so excited about your future, Stephen, about next year, have been a full-blown agency. I mean, I'm totally rooting for you, and I already see that happening. So
Thank
kudos to
you.
you. Kudos to you, girl. Kudos to you. Well, if there are no questions, Sydney, I don't know if you have any final word or just message to people who are probably watching. And so so I want you to have someone at the back of your mind, have someone who was you when you lost your job,
Mhm.
and that person is now listening to you.
Like, what would I say to my old self?
That's right. Yeah.
Ah, that's a good question. um, Definitely something along the lines of, you know what you need to do,
Mm.
and stick to it, because I knew when I was a teenager that I was going to be a business owner. When I found myself managing my managers, I knew. I was like, y'all are not going to have me in here stressed out because y'all are just making terrible business decisions.
Mm. Mm. I
So
like that.
I knew young.
So from Sydney's lips to your ears, like we all know what we need to do. We all know what we need to do. And I'm thinking about honest. Well, I know what I need to do. You know what you need to do, and literally stop fighting yourself. Stop
Yeah,
fighting
take
yourself.
action.
Stop fighting those thoughts. Stop fighting the miracles. Just literally do what needs to be done. And just because you're feeling fear or you're feeling afraid doesn't mean that it is not for you. That is normal. Like as long as you're stepping out of your comfort zone, expect naysayers, expect the fear of failure, expect the fear of success, expect whatever what will people say. Like it just whole that's all part of the territory. So thank you for sharing that with us, and I truly appreciate that. And for those who want to stay connected with you, I'm going to put your details in the caption, but I want you to still share that with us. So how can we stay connected with you, and all of that good stuff?
So if you want to connect with me, I have a link in my bio, and you can either subscribe to my mailing list or you can schedule a consultation with me because I am taking client for 2023. And then also, if you are interested in the program, I am accepting new students. I just opened registration yesterday, and the next cohort will be starting January 29th. So I'm giving people ample time to, sign up with the holidays coming up and all of that. So top of
Awesome.
the year, new story.
Awesome, awesome. Well, don't miss this opportunity at all if you want to be a VA or get into the VA industry. And thank you again, Cydney, for being on this call with me and spending your afternoon with me. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, Cydney. And for everyone on the call, thank you for hanging out with us. And I hope you've learned one or two things to definitely keep you going. And please do not be afraid to go for it. Whatever it is you're going for, absolutely go for it. All right. So tomorrow when we come back again, enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Bye. And thank you.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.